radio show. Opinions expressed are those of the show's host, not WPSL or WSTU or eXP Realty. Any reproduction or reuse of this program without the written consent of WPSL and WSTU is strictly prohibited. If we could find somebody to write you written consent. Good morning, Eileen Simons.
Good morning, Greg Wyatt.
How are you?
Monday mornings are always so much fun with you. Good morning, everybody.
What's happening? It's freezing in your industry.
Oh, I don't know about that. But it certainly is not. We shouldn't call it crazy anymore.
Yeah, no.
But happy Monday to everybody. This show is for you. Thanks for listening and thanks for participating. You can call 772-340-1590 if you have a real estate related subject you want to discuss today. Or you can send an email and we can discuss it on a future show to mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com. If you're too far away to get the radio signal, never fear. Although we go from Palm Bay to PGA up and down the highway.
Oh, no.
You can listen in real time on the TuneIn app. And You can also view all of the past shows on the WPSL TV on YouTube whenever you want to.
Yep. On demand. Yeah.
Right. On demand.
Yep. And, of course, the tune-in thing is absolutely nuts. It is going
How many
crazy.
countries now do we?
We're averaging around 49 during the weekdays.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. And of course, Economic Bullseye, according to Dr. Jerry Parrish at the Florida Chamber, is going to be on Port St. Lucie for the next 40 years.
Yes. It is definitely an up-and-coming area.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's
up-and-coming and growing area.
Yeah. Where the real estate business might cool off a lot around the country, I don't think it's going to happen here anytime soon.
Well, when I say that it's not crazy anymore, what I mean by that is the prices are not increasing at crazy rates anymore.
Well, it was out of control for a while and totally unrealistic. It really was.
But that's what happens. I mean, the real estate industry has always been all about supply and demand.
Sure.
Buyer demand and seller supply on the market. When buyers are willing to plunk down whatever it takes to buy the house that they want, that's what pushes the values up so quickly. And we have been in that situation for over 2 years here in Florida. But now, although there are still a lot of buyers, it seems like things are slowing down. There are some neighborhoods that are what we call back to normal inventory levels, which means, maybe a 3 or 4 month supply. There are still some neighborhoods that are only a 3-week supply. But from what I'm seeing and from the number of showings that are out there, things are leveling off and slowing down compared to what it has been.
Well, the sales were ridiculously hot for, a year and a half, 2 years?
Oh, a good 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Every house that went on the market went on the market higher than the one before that and sold higher than the one before that.
Yeah, it's amazing. What was really intriguing, our little area of St. Lucie West, our little neighborhood has had a massive turnover. And I mean, of course, we've been there 26 years. And it's like, wow, all of a sudden, a lot of newcomers, And one of our neighbors came over, and his daughter just moved in right up the street. And I guess he's got another friend over in the other street. And he goes, "Are you guys going to sell your house anytime soon? We have another relative who wants to come down here from New York." So it's amazing.
Yeah, I visited a private community recently that has been recently purchased by a different investor group, small investor group. It is a private community.
Okay.
It had been very it'd been behind the curve. Let's say it had been behind the curve for a while. Now that this new owner, and there were several houses in that community that were empty, had not been sold, and they couldn't sell them. So now
Wow.
that new owner took it over, and there was a big article, big to do in the paper about, oh, this group is coming and they're going to do so many wonderful things in this community. Well, the first thing they did is move all their relatives in.
Oh no.
4 of the available homes, they put relatives in.
God. Oh my. Okay.
So it's not just one person coming down, it's the whole neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, and you've talked about this, for a couple of years where, you just you're from Michigan and when you grow up somewhere, you usually have relatives in that spot. It kind of makes sense. You just want to bring him down with you, I guess.
Well, especially if you live in a city or a state that is very highly taxed and very high property values. When you come to Florida, it really is paradise in more than one way. Not only from the weather and from our beautiful coastline, but it's paradise based on your income not being state taxed and the property values being lower. Property
Sure.
values are still a lot lower than they are in some of the places
Yes.
northeast of us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But, it's, you get a lot of value here. I was talking to somebody just last week from Fort Lauderdale, and they do college sports, so they really don't have to live anywhere. And he was he's been threatening to come up to the Treasure Coast for a long time, and he said, I think next year is going to be the year. And I said, hey, get her before all the houses are gone. Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. Oh wow.
Well, the good news is that the good news for buyers is that there are several of the local builders that are having incentives now for their buyers.
Oh, okay.
Or for their buyers' agents.
Mm-hmm.
They all seem to be doing something different, but there are several of them. So, and
Wow.
that goes, I'm going to say that goes from, well, the 3 counties that we do, actually the 4 counties that we do most of our work in, Indian River, St. Lucie, Martin, and Palm Beach. There are builders in each one of those counties that have incentives going on right now.
Is there much vacant land? I mean, I know there is in Indian River, but is there much in Martin County or St. Lucie County?
Well, there's vacant land if you go west.
Oh,
Everywhere.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, the ag areas. But
Right.
most
Most of
in
the
cities?
I want to say most, and we'll take Port St. Lucie as an example. Most of the single vacant lots that were in different neighborhoods on different streets, there are still some of those available, but by and large, the majority that we had 3 years ago are sold now.
And I'll bet a lot more expensive, too.
Oh, sure.
Vacant land. Yeah, oh, sure, naturally. Certainly.
Yeah, I looked at, just happened to drive by it the other day, so I looked it up. It's nothing now. If you find a vacant lot in a neighborhood, it's nothing for it to be priced $100,000 or more, just for the lot. And that doesn't include any of your impact fees or any of those things. You know, you got to put all of your infrastructure in there when you're building on an individual lot. So
wow.
Yep.
I remember when, people couldn't give those away for like $1,200. Yeah.
Yeah, and this location wasn't that great because when you look beyond this lot, you see the turnpike.
Wow. Okay.
So, it's not even a what you can call a quiet neighborhood location.
Better get those, what is it, the impact windows to keep the freeway noise out, right?
Well, and you have to get in line for those.
Well, that's true, too.
I have a buyer just bought a condo 3 weeks ago and called the company that had put her impact windows in before, like about 10 years ago. And she's on the waiting list until October now for her new place to replace the windows.
I'm not surprised.
October.
I'm surprised she's getting them that quickly. There is a friend of ours who has a company up in Vero, and they are quoting out fall of 23.
Oh my gosh.
Now, he does the real big homes.
Oh
in
yeah,
Vero.
see this is a smaller condo.
This guy
so.
this guy does some big projects. But what he's telling people that are doing remodeling on the Strand in Vero, give me at least a year. Yeah. It's like, oh God. Oh boy. Yeah,
Right.
it's amazing. It is amazing.
Right.
So what's going on other than that?
So I found a really cool article this week that I wanted to bring up. It talks about, well, first of all, one of the things that we have been talking about this morning so far is the fact that our properties are still more affordable than a lot of other areas where, every other week I try to give you like up-to-date comps of what medium property values are, average property values in certain areas are. This is an article that I was reading, and this is one that says the average. Well, first of all, it talks about the average ages of homes, and everybody knows that in the older cities, those home averages are very old, like 75 years and older.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, look at Fort Pierce, a town of 100. That was 120 years old or something. Yeah.
So this is a survey that was done, and properties in the Philadelphia area,
Oh, yeah.
okay, they start at $745,000.
Excuse me?
Yes. Properties in the D.C. metro area start at $805,000.
Oh, my God.
So it's easy to see why people coming from the East Coast, when they come down here and they see our prices, although our prices are a lot higher than they were 2 years ago, it's still chump change in comparison.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. 800 grand.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
$805,000.
Is that for a 1 or 2 bedroom? It's
That's for a 93-year-old house.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love historical properties, but they take a lot of tender loving care because there's always something that needs to be replaced.
Like a brownstone type of place. Yeah.
Can you imagine replacing all the electric or all the plumbing in a place like that?
When Carol was working at WBC, when I was imprisoned in Bristol, Connecticut, at ESPN, she was on Beacon Street, and the house was 100 and some odd years old, and she just had a small part of it, and it was amazing how the electrical wiring in it. Now, keep in mind, this is 1980. It was just terrible. just terrible.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it was like we knew we weren't going to be there long, and you just kind of roll with it. But yeah, I can imagine you get in those downtown areas, whether it's Boston or New York or Philly or DC. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Whew.
So this is a fun article. If anybody out there can add anything to these types of home, I would appreciate knowing. I like stuff like this. It's an article that talks about all the different kinds of structures that people call home.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So the first one that they show, and I love watching this show on TV because I just think it's amazing what they can do now with tree houses.
Oh, my goodness, tree houses.
Tree houses are not the little stick things that we remember them being.
Well, mine was, but yeah.
Well, we didn't have any trees in our yard, so we didn't have a tree house.
We did in L.A., yeah.
But we could take a tent outside and put a tent up at night.
Sure.
I mean, some people call a tent home.
Did that too. I
Yes.
mean, yeah.
Some people call their motorhome home.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to something not very long ago that some campgrounds, they have permanent post office boxes there now that you can have your mail sent to.
I think the new KOA right down the street here in Fort Pierce on Jennings is like that. Yeah. Yeah, they have. Well, and the other one that does have, that I definitely know has that, is the big, if you want to call it the executive coaches that are in St. Lucie West.
Oh, yeah. When I go the back way
big-
to the
those are
realtor
the
office, that's a beautiful community.
Multi-million-dollar buses, if you will.
Yes, and their little two-bedroom villas that they started building a few years ago started that back then at like $250,000.
Wow. Yeah. Well. Oh, well.
Let's see. Here's another one. Look at this. I wish you could see these pictures. These people live in a greenhouse.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is nice. Yeah.
I'm not sure why they call it a deconstructed house, but they call it a deconstructed house. I have seen old schoolhouses that were turned into residences.
Mm-hmm.
Old churches that were turned into residences. I've seen office buildings that were turned into apartment-style condos.
And we're living proof that you could turn your boat into
Absolutely.
a residence.
Yes, we had friends that were liveaboards. They loved it. Of course, they had a 50-foot yacht, so why not?
Did we in the Marina Del Rey? Yeah, no, it was so. Gosh, it was so quiet. I mean, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
An amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
The kids thought we were nuts. It was like, sorry, no visitors. Oh,
It's like, that's like experiencing vacation every day.
yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I had a little 23-footer that I lived aboard for a while.
Very doable. Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
As long as you have your head down below and a bunk and a little kitchenette, you're all set.
That's all you need.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it was so funny because the boat broker that sold us the boat, which I think, where'd she come from? I think it was Oxnard. And what he was telling us is, okay, now guys, make sure you put all your furniture in storage where you can get to it. Because if for some reason you don't like this,
You don't want to have to go out and buy everything again.
And so we thought, okay, well, at least on Christmas we'll get the decorations out of there and stuff. We didn't go in there for 3 years. It was so funny. We didn't need any of that. Yeah. It was funny.
It is a much simpler life.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's different.
Yes, it is. Also, I have seen old theaters turned into residences.
Oh, that would be unbelievable. Yeah. Sure.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, actually, that would be kind of cool.
And that, theaters are large enough that you could either have a palace that way, or you could have a lot of roommates.
Yeah, like 2,000 roommates. Oh, my.
Well, I'm not saying live in the seats, but even behind the scenes in a theater, there's a lot of space.
You bet. Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I see on here? Of course, there's the becoming more and more popular all the time, the tiny houses.
Yes.
Of course, I have to laugh because the tiny houses are becoming larger, too.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I was looking I thought there was another one on here, but now I can't find it, so we'll have to revisit that if I can find it.
Tiny houses are very popular in San Francisco.
Well, any place where everything is so expensive, and
Right.
as long as, they have to give it special zoning, but I know in different places they've used it as an experimentation for low income,
Yeah. Our old television station, Los Angeles, did a series on those cargo boxes.
Yes.
And where they had someone, it's kind of like the television shows that, remodel stuff. And it was a 2-story cargo box. And it had a spiral staircase going up to the second level. It was really cool the way it was. Boy, was it tricked out. Just like any home. It was amazing. All air conditioned. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, in L.A. Wow.
I wonder how those would fare with hurricanes. I wonder if those could come to Florida.
Well, I would think they'd be kind of like a mobile home, right?
I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know if that... Well, they'd probably be heavier. I don't know. I don't know how that would work.
I have to see if I can do some research on that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's do some updating on local markets.
Here we go.
Okay. So in the zip code 34952,
Okay. US 1 corridor of Port St. Lucie.
in our multi-list, there are 175 properties on the market in that whole zip code. Only
Wow.
175 properties. That's not all single family. That includes single family. It includes vacant lots. It includes condos and townhouses.
Oh, okay.
175. And they go from a price range of... Oh, come on. They go from a price range of... Sorry, my computer is not cooperating today.
When in doubt, kick it.
Price, come on. Here we go. They go from $59.9 to... What's the highest? Give me a little help here, please. $59.9 to...
Your computer is getting fussy midway through the show.
And not always the way. Well, at any rate, I can't make it work, but 175 properties in that zip code. Let's do 34997.
Mm-hmm.
34997 has Yep, that is like Southwest Stewart.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe we won't get to do this today. Let's try one more time. 34997. Come on, little buddy.
Time to get an Apple iPad.
Well, I have a signal, so it's not that.
It's because it's a Hewlett Packard.
Hey,
It's driving like a Packard.
some people don't even remember
Well,
that.
no, and majority of our audience.
I told
never-
somebody the other day that my grandparents' house, they lived in farm country in Ohio. And when I was a little kid, there was no running water. There was a well pump at the kitchen sink,
Wow.
and there was an outhouse. There was no indoor plumbing either.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, and they said, what? And then I said, oh, yeah, and we had a telephone that was hanging on the wall, and you went, ding, ding, ding.
That's- the thing is, that was just a couple of years ago in Ohio. I'm sorry. I
In parts of it, yeah.
shouldn't have said that. Especially by Ohio State.
Oh, well,
Oh, well, we don't.
this is not working. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I
Hey,
can't make it work today.
We don't need that stuff.
All right. This was disappointing to me. That's the only reason I'm bringing this up today, is because there is a state in this country who still had racial exclusions for property owners. And it's only been this year that they changed their law to eliminate those exclusions.
Got to be Arkansas.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No.
Wow.
Actually, it's further north than that.
What?
Yeah. I'll show you the article afterwards. I don't want to say it on air, but I just kept shaking my head. I could
tell
not
us
believe.
what state it is. I mean,
No.
it's,
I could
Really?
not. I could not believe it. Yep.
wow. And
Ugh.
it's not in the South.
Nope. Not a southern state.
Oh, brother. Oh, God. Okay.
Yep. I'm still working on the MLS, people, but it doesn't seem to be cooperating for whatever reason. I'm not sure today. Oh, yay, here we go. 34997. It took such a long time I forgot what zip code I used. So there's 164 properties for sale in that zip code on the MLS. I was interested in telling you the price differences on this one. So the lowest price is $150,000, and by the way, that is a condo. And the highest price is, because there's a lot of waterfront property in that zip code too.
12 million.
The highest price is $4,350,000.
We'll take two. Wow.
What other zip code do you want me to try?
Try St. Lucie West, 34986.
34986. I think it's because I didn't have this on level ground before is the reason it wasn't working for us. 170 properties for sale in 34986. And they range in price from $247,000, which is a condo,
Mm-hmm.
to $1,979,000.
Not surprised. Yeah.
Yep. So 170 properties and a whole zip code is not a lot, but it's more than the 86 that I was getting before. That's why when I said earlier in the show that inventories are up in some neighborhoods, even a 3 or 4 month supply, which is pretty much a normal supply, things are opening up a little more. It seems like buyers are waiting longer to make decisions. They're not making such instant decisions unless they already know the neighborhood. And there are a lot fewer showings. I think it was about 3 weeks ago now when the feds raised the interest rate over 6% and then immediately dropped it. Well, raising it over 6% put skids on a lot of the showings in a lot of the neighborhoods.
Realistically, I want to put my house up this week. What would you tell someone that wants to do that, and how long on the average would it take?
Well, first of all, what I would tell them is in order to give them good information, I would need to do a market analysis of that home in that neighborhood because all neighborhoods are different. You can't just go by what somebody did on the other side of Federal Highway or what somebody did on the other side of Becker Road.
Yep.
Each neighborhood is unique, and the information that we can pull up when we do that market analysis compares apples to apples, not apples to oranges.
What I also heard is that Tesoro's coming back. And, that was a development that was magnificent. We had a PGA golf tournament there, and of course our station was broadcasting live from the thing all week, and that was spectacular place.
Yes.
And those are, obviously, big. Those are estate homes.
Well, and there's still a lot of empty land in Tesoro, too.
Yes.
So a lot of opportunities for them to bring builders in and build that community back up to what it was meant to be in the first place.
Yeah, and I think it's, is it this fall, I think is going to be like the official reopening of Tesoro. I think that's cool.
I think they started renovating some buildings. What is this, July? Maybe this winter they started. And I think they're waiting until they have those common buildings renovated. They have, from what I understand, there is an entity that's coming in to run the food service at the clubhouse. And so I think they're waiting until that's in place to reopen everything.
And for folks who are just, out driving around and stuff, and if you could afford to look at property in there, the clubhouse at Tesoro is spectacular. It's really, really nice.
Well, I hear it's going to be even nicer because that's
cool.
one of the things that they're renovating. That is a big building. I think it's 4 floors, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 floors.
Yeah, it's big. It's big. Yeah, we were, I think, in the second, and it was kind of like a balcony area. Perfect. We could see the course and the whole thing. It was beautiful. Just beautiful. Yeah.
And if they keep things the way they were, if you buy in Tesoro, you have an opportunity to either be part of the private part of the community or not. I mean, everybody, of course, is inside the gates for Tesoro, but there's a part, at least prior to this new owner coming in, there was a part that you weren't required to do those memberships in.
Oh, okay.
They still had HOA there,
Right, right.
but you weren't required to do the memberships, yes.
Wow.
And from what I hear, they're going to rebuild the golf course, which, of course, will take time, and then there will be marina.
Nice. Wow. Very nice.
Yep.
And then, of course, right down the road is Harbor Ridge.
Well,
Yeah.
down the road and around the
Yeah,
corner.
around the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of the property that that backs up to each other, but everything from Tesoro east to Gilson Road is under construction. If you haven't been over there,
I
lately,
haven't. You know, it's
you need
funny.
to go
It's-
over, and you need
Yeah.
to, if for nothing else, you need to go over there and see the roundabout by Verano. It has a beautiful sculpture in it of a sail. I go over there just to drive through the roundabout.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. We'll have to check that out, definitely.
Yeah, it has changed so much. There's a roundabout there, and now there's a roundabout at the end of Becker Road. When you get down to Gilson, there's a roundabout there too now.
And, of course, the news that Becker Road is going to head west to the Okeechobee County line.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it was very interesting. There was an article in the paper that Chief Bolduc was quoted as talking about tradition. So remember, we were talking about tradition at 6,000 people. It's 15 now. And it's going to be 128,000 in 8 years. They have 60,000 rooftops planned for that area. 60,000. Well, 2 people a house, that's your 120 right there.
Right.
Wow.
And remember, you asked me earlier today, where is vacant land? And I told you have to go west for it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's going to go fast.
there'll be someday when it will all be suburbia, for lack of a better word. It will all be suburbia between Port St. Lucie and Okeechobee and between Stewart and Indiantown.
Exactly.
It'll all be built up.
Well, and why should we be surprised? I mean, Miami had the westward look.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go any
Wellington?
furand east, so
No.
you got to go west.
Yeah. Wellington down in the Palm Beach area.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's yeah, and it's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm. What I want to remind people is, though, I don't want you to be nervous about buying property because interest rates are still so low compared to where they are going to be. You know, there is an entity that controls interest rates that thinks that the housing industry is responsible for creating this economic nightmare that we have, and so they are committed to keep raising those interest rates. Well, number one, I don't believe that's the truth. The housing industry is not responsible for where our economy is right now, and number two, interest rates are still very affordable compared to where they're going to be.
Mm-hmm. Got that right. True.
Just my 2 cents.
There you go.
So this was let's go back to fun stuff, okay?
There you go.
This is a fun article. This talks about tips for redesigning your patio space.
Oh.
This was a little article that I sent out to my preferred email list this week. And it had a lot of cool information in it. So I just thought I would bring it in and share with everybody. If you would like to be added to this list, all you have to do is let us know. You can either text your email address to 772-200-5105, or you can send an email to mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com and ask to be added to our preferred email list. And so it's talking about the fact that sometimes we spend so much time designing the interiors of our homes, and yet as soon as there's decent weather, we go outside.
Naturally.
So outdoors has become a much bigger priority, especially since people have been moving south and west. Outdoors has become a much more larger priority. In fact, I just saw an ad on the television, I want to say this week, about a company that is specializing in outdoor kitchens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I had to chuckle and say, yeah, Florida's a great place for that. Let's see. So what it's telling you is there are a lot of easy ways to make beautiful outdoor retreats. Whether you want to, or whether you have the opportunity to have them a covered space or not, there are a lot of options.
Now, Linda Salisbury, our master grower with the county, she would probably say plants.
Well, look at this picture. Look at all the beautiful
Woo!
trees around there.
Yeah.
You know?
Beautiful. Wow. That is gorgeous.
I mean, there are a lot of people that don't wilt like I do every time they get bitten by a bug. So they can they can enjoy that very open outdoor area. And some spaces are smaller, so you can maybe only have one piece of furniture, but it's nice to have a little seated area, a little sitting area. I've seen a lot of, if you're in an area where allows a controlled fire in some kind of vessel, there are so many choices for those today, and they have lids that go on them.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes there are. Now, I would never encourage leaving this stuff outside when we have a hurricane coming, though. You have to be able to bring your furniture inside because they become projectiles. Don't just bring. If you have very heavy furniture, maybe that's okay to stay outside, but you got to bring your cushions and you got to bring your umbrellas in, at least.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And even your planters.
Well, and the plants. I mean, sure. And almost anything can become a projectile in 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Right. Another thing they recommend is as many plants as you can, because plants are not only good for the environment, but they just do so much, I think, for our psyche. And they just, like this is a real cute, you can't see the picture, but I'm going to explain it to you. It's a very cute brick wall that has planters hanging
planters.
On it.
Yeah.
And these aren't flowering plants. These are herbs.
There you go. Yeah. Herb gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's very common.
Look at this one.
Oh, gorgeous.
This has an ivy wall, and then there's a very cute. It looks like a teak set, table and chairs, bordering the wall, and just a little, not even a big fancy, but just a little grill that you can make dinner on. And then, of course, you have one that you might find near the water, because actually we can see the water view from here. This is beautiful. And what people are doing instead of having screens also is they're doing curtains. You can do curtains on the top or curtains that hang down on the side, and if it rains, you can close those curtains and still be outdoors, but be protected from the weather.
Okay. Huh.
This area looks like it probably seats 20 people, so it's a big veranda someplace.
Wow. That's gorgeous.
And I can see the aqua water out there.
Yeah.
And then they're also wonderful for nighttime use. You can take that same terrace and put little twinkle lights up and just, have some mosquito repellent type products around to keep the mosquitoes away. And I had somebody tell me last year, this was a landscape person, tell me that palm fronds that fall down, if you scrape them on the ground, they have a natural repellent in them, mosquito repellent.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I was very excited to
Wow.
learn that.
Okay. Huh.
And we tried that a couple of times during COVID because, we couldn't go inside anybody's house, but we would just sit outside. And so we tried that a few times, and it seemed to help.
Interesting. Wow.
Little twinkle lights that we used to only use for Christmas, they're using all year long now. And they put them outdoors. They're LED, so they don't take a lot of electricity. And the suggestion is to use that for your outdoor lighting at night.
And just leave them up. Yeah.
Make sure that the furniture you buy is durable and it is weatherproof. Otherwise, you'll be replacing it every year. This place is... It says, your patio has more potential than you might have realized. Think about how you'd like to use your space, and you'll be surprised at how easy it is to transform this often overlooked part of the home. Look at this. It was just a walkthrough before.
That's outdoors?
That's outdoors.
Good grief. Wow, that's...
Yep. So it's a fun article.
Yeah.
And it has beautiful pictures on it. So if you'd like to have me share it with you, just let us know, and I can certainly do that.
Yeah, you could just text it to 772-200-5105. Yeah.
Right. Or pretty soon we're going to have a new office phone number too.
Oh, great. Really confuses.
No. Simpler. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're doing
Simplify.
it. Yes.
Awesome.
I really try to keep things simple. Let's see. We're always open for suggestions. Any topics you want to discuss about the real estate industry. If you don't want to call into the show, that's fine. Just text or send an email. Our email address, mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com, and we're happy to add those to our topics. One more thing I wanted to bring up today. This is... this again is talking about the fact that a mortgage is a mortgage is a mortgage is a mortgage. Almost everybody has to have a mortgage to buy their home.
Yeah, sure.
Especially their first or second home. Almost always have to have a mortgage. Traditionally, we have talked about this before, how high interest rates can go, but this really is a good time to apply for your mortgage. Not only are rates still low, even at 5 or 6%, but there are a lot of special programs that you might be able to qualify for as well. Like there are first responder programs. There are VA loans. There are special rates for teachers and special rates for medical professionals. So
Now, banks are doing this?
banks and lenders, yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So ask those kinds of questions when you are contacting. You have a lot of options. You aren't stuck to just using the bank that you bank with. There are a lot of independent lenders out there as well that really have a lot of competition. There are probably I don't know this for sure, but I'm thinking there are probably as many licensed lenders as there are real estate agents in the state of Florida, which means, you know what I always say, one on every corner and halfway in between.
Well, and keep in mind, too, you may say you want to do business with your local bank, but how long is your local bank going to hold on to that loan before they sell it?
Well, that's just it. I mean, there are some that do maintain all of the loans that they write. There are others that don't. So those are more questions that you should ask. But don't think just because prices are, oh my gosh, so high. It is still more affordable to buy a home than it is to rent.
Oh, yeah.
Especially over the long haul. When you buy property, you are building equity. Now, of course, that equity changes because the market goes up and down and up and down. You're not going to see it constantly go up. It does fluctuate. But over the life of a loan, whether it be a 15-year loan or a 30-year loan, the opportunity for you to build equity is very advantageous to you. And when you are renting property, you can't do that.
That's so true. And, of course, our rents up here have skyrocketed.
I'll tell you, well, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I did an analysis for someone who called me the other day because they're thinking about putting their 3-bedroom home up for rent. They told me that they're having difficulty getting airline tickets to come to Florida from the East Coast. So they're thinking about putting their 3-bedroom single-family home up for rent. Well, I told them conservatively they're looking at over $4,000 a month.
Oh, ouch. Yeah. Well, that's a lot more expensive than our home loan.
Yeah.
That's absurd. So how do we get in touch with you?
Once again, 772-200-5105. That is a cell phone, so you can call or text that number. If you call and we can't answer, please leave a voicemail. I promise we will call back. Or you can reach us through our email, which is mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com.
All right. You have a great week, okay?
Thanks.
All
everybody else, you have a great week too. And Greg and everybody here at STU and WPSL, we'll see you next Monday.
You've been listening to My Dream Home Radio right here on WPSL Port St. Lucie. Talk of the Treasure Coast webcaster to the world. And WSTU Stewart, Martin County's Heritage Station.